Dan, the Song Parody Man, sent me a long letter. As you can see, it's small typed in a full page about why he is innocent in all of this with Artie and explaining himself.
Dan, can I just say something before we start?
Go ahead.
I'm not mad at you at all, Dan. I'm not, believe me. And you brought it up on the air. I'm sorry you did. I never would.
Artie was talking about people borrowed money from him, a guy that he used to work with at another place that hasn't paid him back yet, and that's pretty much it.
All right, yeah, actually, Artie helped me out and did loan me a chunk of money, which obviously I have every intention of paying back. We even had a conversation about it recently, and he's like, look, if you need more, we'll need a little more time, take a little more time. But my plan all along was I'm expecting a windfall of cash very shortly.
Well, he didn't bring your name up, actually. He talked about a different guy, but Artie let you, how much, Artie lent you money?
Yeah. Artie helped me out when I was moving back from Vegas, and I had a debt that kind of accumulated back here, and he just basically helped me out. My other plan was, if I don't have the money to pay him back, I just sell my Harley. I put my Harley on Craigslist. It's gone in a week, and he gets it. I desperately needed money, and I was talking to him, and I mentioned it, and he made the offer. I said, dude, I'm dying out here right now, and I asked him to lend me money just like many people have asked me, and I've lent them in the past. And believe me, I have every intention of paying
How long
back.
ago was that, Dan?
Yeah, how long ago?
How long ago? It was in March.
Oh, this year?
Yeah.
Well, you did. I didn't bring it up.
All right.
I don't know who brought it up.
When you were freaking out on Teddy, when you had the Teddy fight, you didn't mention my name, but you said, I lent some...
Okay, so it could have been.
You said,
yeah,
I lent another guy who works here $7,500.
Okay, but how did...
Actually, your exact words were, and this guy might be even a bigger loser and a bigger deadbeat than Teddy.
Can you just give him money for free?
That's what he wants.
Would you be willing to do that?
Well, I've done it in the past.
In other words, just make him like a ward of the Artie estate.
Another deadbeat in my life, you mean?
No, I don't mean a deadbeat, but maybe just.
I have
Teddy.
a bunch of deadbeats in my life.
No, we'll figure out something. I mean, look, it's
my reputation on the air is bad now because Ted takes advantage. There's another guy that you know very well in our organization that I just loaned $7,500 to, and wants another $7,500. And Ted is as big a deadbeat as he is. He's a bigger deadbeat. Teddy is a loser.
I'm a deadbeat.
But I'm not sure. Maybe Teddy's a bigger loser.
No, you're definitely a bigger deadbeat than
No
Teddy.
doubt about it.
I was mad at the time, and I did not say your name.
No, you didn't.
And there's no reason $7,500 should mean anything to anybody but me and you.
Right.
Okay,
I agree.
Well,
the point is, you're right. It shouldn't mean anything but me and you. But from the second you said that, from the second that went down, the clever detectives here were able to deduce who it was, and everybody was talking about it was me.
You brought you.
No, Howard. Months later did I bring it up, but before that, people were whispering it in the hallways. I'd walk by, Fallon's walking by me, $7,500, $7,500.
How did they know that? How did they do that?
I guess they were able to figure out that it was. You said it was somebody who works here or somebody closely associated with the show, and everybody out there knew that it wasn't them. They knew that I just moved back from Vegas. They probably some of them might know that I was desperate.
So Dan, what's going on? But the last time,
but I don't know how you can yell at a guy who loaned you money.
I'm not yelling. Who am I yelling at?
You're yelling at Artie.
No, I'm just stating the fact that I brought it up after it was already common knowledge.
Let's skip all the history of this thing.
Yeah, forget about the history of it.
Let's get down to it.
I'm just broke right now. I mean, Artie loaned me money. He basically saved my life by loaning me the money at the time. I was flat broke.
How long ago did he lend you the money?
It was March. It was this past March, so it's closing in on a year.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Now, you said you were due for a windfall of some sort.
Yeah, the wind has yet to fall.
Right.
Hopefully,
what happened to the windfall? What was the windfall that you were
I can't really discuss the windfall, but it still could possibly, it still looks very good that it could happen.
And
it's
the other day, I
else.
brought that up as a joke. Look, again, with the radio show, Howard, you know this. Like, sometimes you...
Yeah, sometimes you bring up about how much bottle of
look, you've been
wine
doing a lot of great.
dinner.
You've been doing a lot of great work lately. You were on the air. We were talking about you, and I said the windfall will be a funny thing to say, and
I understand.
Artie, let me understand this. How long did you expect to wait for your $7,500 back?
Well, I don't know how many details Dan wants to reveal, but I knew he was in a bit of trouble, and it would probably take a while. Now, I would never loan anybody money that I needed desperately, but that's
it's a lot of money.
It's a substantial amount of money.
That's 3 bottles of wine.
Is it fair to say you did want? Is it fair to say you wanted more?
I absolutely. I wanted more, and thank God that I didn't borrow.
Well, here's the thing, Dan. I did you a favor. Let me. There's a detail here you're missing.
Okay.
And again, Dan, I'm not mad at all. I know Dan's a hardworking guy, and it's tough times, but Dan wanted $15,000. He said, can I have $7,500 now and $7,500 when I get back to Jersey?
Wow.
So I said, Dan, I'll send you $7,500, But because I knew, you know, even though I technically need the 15,000, I said to myself, the best thing for my friendship with Dan is not to give him the 15,000.
That's a lot of
because
money.
I figured it would be a long time, and that's really a number it would be hard to get out of my mind. So I just let it drop, and Dan was nice enough to let it drop. So we left it at 7,500.
You've been able to live on the 7,500. Why did you need an additional 7,500?
Okay, my genius plan was out when I moved back from Vegas. I was going to get my sound system business started up again, where I do the PA systems, I do bands and stuff like that. What I was going to do is I was going to gear up. I was going to get an additional van. I was going to hire another guy. I was going to be able to do run jobs simultaneously. I thought that money would enable me to pay him back faster. My plan was the money.
Do you have any family that can lend you money?
I was the guy in the family that loaned everybody else money when I had it. I was the go-to guy.
He's got a nice daughter who I've met. You know, it's like I'm not the 15 grand would have annoyed me so much to where I might have said something.
Well, wait a second.
So I just left it at what it was.
But just
the
to let you know,
7,500. So you never got your business going. Why didn't you just return the money to Artie then?
No, the money was to get me. The money was to cover my bills before I left Vegas, to move me back here, for me to move into a place. You know, you got first month's rent, last month's rent, security, to get my piece of shit van back on the road and roadworthy.
Don't you live with friends? You don't even have a place.
Yeah, no. I rent a house. I have roommates. I rent a share of a house. When I lived out in Vegas, part of my living arrangement was part of my work deal.
Now, since March of 2008, have you taken any vacations? Have you gone anywhere?
I have. Let me tell you, Artie. I have not afforded myself a single fucking luxury. I live as frugally as possible.
Where'd you get that coat? That very nice leather coat.
This fucking coat. I got this coat is so old.
Give it to Artie right now.
You want it?
Yeah, Artie wants that coat.
This coat is so old.
Take off your pants.
This is what I hate.
How much are those pants?
I hate it making someone who's a friend of mine explain themselves, but
no. I just want
I would never do this. I feel awkward right now.
The rumor is you owe Artie more than 7,500. Is that true?
No, as far as I know, I owe him 75. My plan was to get my money. I was going to give him 10 grand. So his interest, he probably wouldn't even take it. But I'd force it on him. I'd say, do something nice for me, for yourself, the way that I did something. You did something nice for me. But the funny thing,
Dan, let me ask you something. What do you think's going to happen with this loan? Do you think?
Well, to make it all the more pathetic, my plan was if I couldn't get rid of it, I was going to sell my Harley and then I could throw him the money. I'm so behind on the rent on the garage where I store the fucking bike, I can't gain access to it to sell the goddamn thing.
I know how much that means to you. I don't want you to sell your bike.
How much would it cost to get your bike back? How much do you owe them?
I owe $4 grand out there, but I have 2 bikes there. I'm dumping one off, which I'm going to get about $2 grand for, and then I'm going to have another $2 grand cash that I have to come up for.
See, the other thing,
what are you going to do with the $2 grand? You going to give it to Artie?
No, he's got to get the bike.
Yeah, I got to sell the one bike that's in there for $2 grand.
Why don't you say
come up with another $2 grand to clear that debt? Then I have access to the other bike, which I can then sell and pay him back.
You see, and Howard, here's the other thing: by not giving him the other $7,500, it does something else. I knew if I gave him everything he wanted the first time, he's going to come back for more money. So by not giving you the other $7,500, it sort of puts a cap on what I can give him too.
What about
he knows that?
What about getting a regular job?
You know, I'd like to. I spent 20 years honing my skills in like the electronics sector of electronics, where I had my business, which went away, and I'm a dinosaur that's obsolete. It's kind of like if I was a skier and I no longer had legs, I can't do that anymore.
What about going to a restaurant today and saying, "I'm going to work in the kitchen"?
Sorry, man. For the amount of money I could, the amount of money that I would make on a menial job like that would hinder me from being able to make the small amount of money I need to get by between child support, monthly living expenses, which is really it. You know, I have a certain number I have to make.
What about you go down to the sanitation department right now? Like I know King of All Blacks makes about 40, 50 grand a year.
Because he's vested, because he's got tenure, because he's been in there forever.
So why not start?
I'm 45 years old, man.
Too old for that?
I'm too old for that. I mean, I can't. If I could start at the bottom, I mean, an entry-level job where you don't have skills.
What about working at a motorcycle shop? What about that? What about you?
I don't have the skills to work on other people's bikes.
What about a salesman at a store that sells motorcycles?
You could sell knives, you know.
Yeah.
You have knives.
I could use them too, but. No, you know what?
Sell your hair to a Chinese wig company.
That's not. I'll tell you, I've considered it. People aren't buying hair anymore. The economy shit. People aren't buying bikes.
We've heard all sorts of rumors about now that everybody's talking about this.
I know. I mean, first of all, I don't know how the gossip around here is crazy.
It's all over the place. So I got to ask both you guys a question. Is it true that one of the ways Dan got the money from you was that he called Artie and he was crying that he wasn't going to be able to see his daughter and he needed the money for airfare to come back. That's one of the rumors.
He
that's going
wasn't
around.
crying, no.
Now,
He
how
really
can
wanted to get back.
Now, how
to
can
him.
these rumors be completely fabricated? If me and Artie are the only ones that had this conversation, everything else is just total fabrication.
Although I read your letter.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, something didn't ring true about it.
Tell me what didn't ring true.
If you don't mind me saying. You describe that since this has come up on the radio, and Steve Langford's been reporting on this.
Let me cut you off on that.
Hold on, let me finish.
Can you just refer to him as the scumbag piece of shit and not the name? Because the name makes me want to make my blood boil.
All right, scumbag piece of shit. I don't feel that way about Steve.
You know, all your life you've criticized people in the media who have misquoted you, who have written articles. You've accused them of yellow journalism. You've done prayers to Jesus, wishing cancers to spread through their body and die them, so that you could piss on their grave and laugh at their rotting corpse.
What has Steve said wrong? There is a loan here. There's a debt to be paid.
The point is, it's between myself and Artie. Yes,
but you brought it up on the air, and then Steve is put in the awkward position of having to cover it.
Yeah, but you know what? He called me, and I said,
Steve.
"Yeah, better fucking walk fast past me, you fucking piece of shit."
Well, wait a second. You're taking it out on Steve.
No.
Don't do anything stupid.
No. Just stop and let me speak. Steve called me. I said, "Please do not run a story on this. When it's a fleeting mention on the show, it's one thing. If you repeat it in the news over and over again, then word can possibly get back to my daughter. She'll get teased. She'll get antagonized at school." I said, "The point, no, Howard. The point is, I said to him, please do not run the story. I'm appealing to you as a father and as a fellow human being.
But wait,
do not run the story.
Wait,
everything I'm saying to you is well."
But Dan, you use the kid card.
Whether I use
who knows who Dan the Song Parody? Your kid doesn't go to school and get teased by the other kids because her dad is Dan the Song Parody Man.
No. She gets teased by other kids because some of the kids at school do know that I work here and people hear it in the news.
And they know you're Dan the Song Parody Man, and they listen to Howard 100 News.
They knew you didn't pay back Artie?
Oh, come on.
They didn't know it for
possibly be true.
What kind of song can you make
First of all, it is. Second of all, you want to call me a liar? Call me a fucking liar, Howard.
You a liar, but
I'm telling you one thing, and you're telling me you believe it to be the contrary. So you call me a fucking liar. But the bottom stop. The bottom line is this: I begged and I pleaded, and I very eloquently asked him not to run the story, that it could have a negative impact on my daughter. I said everything I'm saying to you is off the record, and the fucking piece of shit scumbag fucking ran the story anyway. And not only that, but he lied, because in his story he says Dan warned us against running the story. I didn't warn you. I asked you not to run the story. You're a fucking scumbag, a piece of shit, a yellow journalist, and you don't practice what you preach, because many times you've lied on the air and you fucking squash stories about yourself, because you're a human piece of fucking shit. You should fucking die tomorrow so I can shit on your face, piss on your grave, and do a fucking happy dance, because you're not a fucking human being to me. You're a piece of fucking garbage, and you better walk past me fucking fast when you walk past me.
Don't make threats. Don't make threats.
I'm not making threats. I'm just fucking recommending the pace that he should walk at.
What does that mean?
Because I don't want him fucking near me, because my skin crawls when he's near me. So it would be a favor to me, the same way as I asked you nicely before not to run the fucking story. It's a favor to me because you make me fucking sick. The sight of you, the thought of you. Let's talk about the liar fucking Langford. Funny stuff. First of all, what a moron. This fucking guy is embarrassed and tries to squash a story. He hates the fact that he has a reputation for having a big cock. He should hate having a reputation for being a big fucking cock. Steve Langford's huge penis. They had one of his ex-girlfriends who wanted to talk about it, and he wouldn't allow it through. A year later, he fucking lied and said he didn't squash the story. Then there's the fucking Steve Mud Langford, where the rumor was that he apparently shit his pants, and his nickname at another news place was Steve Mud Langford. Now, he played it off and lied by saying that they said that because he was a fan of scatological humor. However, then a year later, he got somebody to cover for him and say, no, there was an incident where we were in the news van and I crapped myself and Steve got blamed for it. If that was what really fucking happened, why didn't you just say that was what happened? Not just say, oh, I'm a fan of scatological humor, not that somebody else shit their pants and I got blamed for it.
Steve,
because you're a fucking asshole. You're a fucking liar. You are the piece of shit that comes out of an asshole. I asked you not to run the fucking story.
Right,
it wasn't big news. He wasn't breaking any fucking news. He was just fucking driving home something that was already covered on the show.
That. All right, Steve.
The fucking scumbag. Fucking die, you piece of shit.
Can he answer that?
And
did you poop in your pants?
No.
You did not?
No. I would like to be able to tell you that I did, but I didn't.
No. See, it's physically impossible for a piece of shit to take a shit. Either you can take a shit or you are the shit.
Do you want to respond to Dan's charges?
Well, it's interesting. Dan says clearly that he wants to bury the story. Why is he on this radio show right now?
Because you've already fucking blown it. It's been on the air.
No, this was
and he's already. That's not. No. Why don't you fucking address the fact that we had a conversation? I told you
Yes,
asked you not to
absolutely.
run the story.
Right, but I don't take requests.
Did I warn you not to
When I
run?
covered the news.
Did I ask you to not run the story, or did I warn you to run the story? Because in your news story, you said, Dan the Song Parody Man warns us. Dan the Song Parody Man cautions us. Did I ever warn you or caution you, or did I ask you? Because saying I warned or cautioned, which sounds like I threatened you, makes for a better story when you don't have a fucking story.
Let's
when you're a
actually
fucking
go with
piece of shit that tries to blow things out of proportions.
Well, we're not getting anywhere.
There's so many inaccuracies.
He makes Tom Chiasano seem fucking animated. It's like if they took a fucking robot.
But you're mad at the guy.
And cloned it with a piece of shit. You'd have fucking Steve Langford. It's like they took a robot and they had did a poor job of trying to program it to emulate human emotions.
Dan, I like it. Here's my recommendation. Next time, don't bring up on the air that you're the guy who borrowed $7,500.
Howard, it was already out. The bitches in the office were already talking about it. When Artie was talking about
it. No, I'll tell you what, I would never,
but
people would ask me and I would just go, I don't know what you're talking about. And it would never have come on the air.
But every time my name came up, did Howard not get a note that said, oh, doesn't Dan the Song Parody Man owe you money?
And I would say no, and then it was end of it. Howard, believe me.
Listen to me.
It would never have been this way.
As mad as you are at Steve, and I understand your point. Guy got it.
He's a piece of shit. I told him it could affect my daughter. He ran a story anyway. He wasn't breaking any news.
All right.
He was just repeating what was already said on the air. I asked him fucking nicely.
What we did was we called the individual involved here, which is what reporters do.
All right. So here's the thing.
Right, and I said, I'm not authorizing you to tape this.
No,
anything.
you did. Yeah, we
I
did
said,
not
do not tape this.
We did not tape the interview because you would not go on tape. However, we did quote you.
Yeah,
which is what reporters
No,
do.
You didn't quote me.
Yes, we do. We got it right here.
Yes or no? Did you say in your piece that I warned you not to run the story?
Here's what the story says.
Because you can repeat the piece.
Here's what the story says.
Let's see what he said.
The story says Dan refusing to go on tape to comment about Artie mentioning the Lange, the large lingering loan he still hasn't repaid Lange, and the Song Parody Man warning us not to blow up, sensationalize, or glorify.
Warning us?
Story.
Did I warn you? What is a warning?
Yes, not to glorify, sensationalize, or blow up the story.
That's pretty close.
No. That's bullshit. A warning means
the news.
You better not do this.
If you don't like the news,
I asked him. I did not warn him. There's a difference. When you fucking say that somebody warned you.
You're getting worked up over the
You're like all these
No. It's just a no. It's an example of the fact that he's a piece of shit scumbag and he's full of shit. That he didn't have
story's true. What can I tell you?
No, the story's not true because I didn't fucking warn you. So shut your fucking hole, Langford.
He's saying
fuck you. Shut your fucking hole, Langford.
Right.
Don't
Steve,
ever fucking walk near me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Dan, calm down.
Wow.
It ain't worth it.
You're a fucking piece of shit, Langford.
Go
Go that way.
Steve, I'm not gonna touch him because I'm not into scandalizing shit like him.
You heated up.
Fuck out of here.
You're heated up.
Howard, if somebody ran an article where you asked somebody not to say something and you said that they printed, you warned them.
I would point it out.
You'd fucking hit the fucking roof. And especially if it was
maybe.
And especially if you asked them not to run it out of concern for your children, whether the reporter thinks it's a valid concern or not.
Reporters write whatever they want. They don't care about your children, and they don't. That's
obviously,
the bottom line.
especially including the scumbag that you employ, Howard.
That's true.
He's a fucking piece of shit.
He's a newsman.
He's a newsman.
No. He's a piece of fucking shit.
I don't sit there and tell the news.
I've helped that fucking piece of human garbage out with shit when he's needed fucking my help. I've seen him working on stuff and given him ways to speed up his fucking research. I've helped this fucking guy out. You think?
Now here's what I want you to do
tonight.
Here's what I want you to do tonight. Cut up your own voice and make song parodies out of it.
This is great tape.
This is great tape.
I'm sure somebody else will fucking
No.
You
need to do this.
Can I just touch one more thing? And obviously, I look at Artie. I'm like, I say, Artie's my friend. We fucking hung out. We've done a lot of shit. We've had a lot of good times together.
I don't have any bad feelings against you.
I called you a ton of fucking times, since I've gotten back, and it's the same procedure. I call your house phone, and it goes to the voicemail.
Well, you know what I would say.
I know, yeah.
Artie's not going to tell you.
90% of the people in my life can't get in touch with me right now because I'm a heroin
I can't get
addict.
in touch with him. He's a heroin addict.
I felt like a real douchebag. I felt like over and over again that I don't know, you helped me out as a friend, but then you fucking were avoiding me like the plague.
Matt is on the. Let's hear from the fan.
I don't want to put you in an awkward position where you're explaining it to me. Like, if you had left a message, look, I have the money, meet me here, we'll go get it. Otherwise, it's going to be an awkward. I'm doing it for our friendship.
I know.
Ironically,
it bothers me. I mean, it fucking bothers me every day.
Let's go to some of the listeners. Times are rough, and I'm sure you're going to pay him back. Matt, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, Matt.
Hey, Howard, how you doing? I was just curious, Dan. Don't you think that maybe if you just concentrated on on resolving the whole $7,500 that it wouldn't even matter what Langford says. Like, I don't know, I'm just curious because this is the second time I'm hearing somebody blow up on Langford. Seems like we're kind of tangenting off the...
I was going to say that to you. I was going to say that to you. It's more...
I work every day towards trying to find a way to resolve this debt as quickly as possible. I got a ton of music here that I'm actually in the middle of restoring and selling. I got vintage Fender amps that are worth like $2,500 that I'd like to just like get rid of one and at least hand that to Artie to give him something. But no, the point is, Matt, I told the guy that if you blow this up and you repeat the story over and over again in the news, that it could have a negative impact. It could get back to my teenage daughter.
But when you go on the air and say you're a poon hound and all that,
right.
Don't you think that could have an impact to your daughter?
I said it once in a fleeting moment. You guys have repeated it 1,000 times since then.
Is it? Well, you know how the show works.
I mean,
but has it affected your daughter? Has anything happened?
Yeah, somebody called her a fucking welfare loser at school.
All right, Ken, you're on the air. Go ahead.
I don't know how they know who you are.
I don't even know how they know who Dan the Song Parody Man is. I don't even know his last name.
I don't deny that you're telling the truth. It's crazy.
Ken, go ahead. You're on the air.
Dan, you're a talented, creative guy, but you're clearly out of your fucking mind here.
How am I out of my mind?
A lot of talented guys are out of their mind.
Well, this is an extreme case because Steve Langford is an extremely talented, professional guy, and you can't get past the name calling.
No. He's not talented. He's not professional.
Yes, he is, man.
Okay. Call it my naivete that I said to him 4 times. This could have a negative impact on my daughter. I'm not giving you any breaking news. You're not breaking a story. You're just going to be repeating what's already been said on the air.
But the negative impact on your daughter is borrowing $7,500 in the first place.
Yeah.
No. It's the fact that they're running it on the news over and over again and increasing the exposure of it.
But if you didn't borrow the money, it would never be on the news.
The point is, but the point is,
look, I'm not judging somebody.
And don't go on the air saying you're the guy who's owed the money. Then you wouldn't have any Steve Langford or any impact on your daughter.
I wish that was the case, but that's
all right.
But
that's my
point
over
and done. The point is, I asked the guy very nicely, and I told him why, okay? And he chose to run the story anyway, despite the fact that I told him that it could have an impact on my child.
All right, Karen, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, Howard. I'm not calling about this.
All right, we're on this topic now, though, my darling.
Well,
all right, let's stick to the topic. Let's go to Jovan.
Hey, Howard.
Yep.
Good. Dan's great. He's a smart guy.
I love Dan.
And you got to appreciate him how far he got. Just a funny story. Back in the old days, we used to play hockey with him.
Jovan, hey, man, I was thinking about you the other day. You're the best.
How's it going?
Killer defenseman.
And the funniest story, we get shellacked on the ice. He gets back in the locker room. He lights up a cigarette. He goes, man, we fucking suck. And you're just sitting there like...
Do you smoke cigarettes?
Oh, that's the other thing. I was trying to figure out if
Where are you getting money for that?
If I didn't smoke, I take it out of my food money. I'll fucking smoke instead of eat. Yovi,
give Artie the cigarette money. What do you spend a week on cigarettes? How do you not have money? I don't understand. Yeah. I don't mean to get into financial life, but now that it's on the air, why would you smoke cigarettes?
I'm an addict.
You have no money.
Artie can relate.
Give that money to your daughter, then she won't be a welfare kid.
Yeah.
How much money do you spend? How much are cigarettes now? How much are they a pack?
Anywhere between like $5 and $8 a pack.
Oh my God! So how many packs a week do you smoke?
I'm stretching like a pack will last me 2 days, and I'm smoking the cheapest stuff.
All right, so you're spending at least $50 a week on cigarettes.
Yeah. Dude,
if you gave him $50 a week, you'd be paid him back already.
Yeah,
for a year.
What's $50? 2027.
What's $50 a week times 52 weeks? Robin, you're a math major.
2,500.
2,500 you'd have.
Yeah.
Then you could get your bike out of hock and pay Artie his money.
That's about a third of what you owe.
Hey, Jovan, back in those days.
I want you quitting cigarettes
Back in those
today.
days, would I put up like the whole $6,000 for the team fee and then wait for the guys over the course of the season to pick it up because I had money back then? Yovi was a great defenseman.
Listen to me. Quit smoking today. It's over.
Oh, God, I wish I could.
No, you can't. If you stop buying them.
I cut everything out. I don't drink. I don't do any drugs. I don't smoke weed.
Are you dating?
I cut down on my eating.
Have you gone on a date?
I haven't gone on a date in ages. Not a date where I had to pay for anything. Anyways.
What is it, Gary?
The guys in the office were asking a question, which I'm going to pose to Dan. If you were looking to keep this whole Artie Money thing sort of private and quiet, they were saying Artie did a book signing. And at the book signing, Langford was there and the Howard TV cameras were there. And Dan got online and like repaid Artie $100, like making a whole show of it.
Right.
So if you were looking to keep it on the sort of quiet, why would you do that?
It had already been brought up on the air. I was there, and I handed him money, and the cameras were there. It's not about.
It appears that you're willing to talk about it on the radio and play with it to some degree.
Now it's completely out in the open. Okay, that was something that my daughter wasn't going to see. It's something that my daughter wasn't going to hear.
But how do you know what she's going to see and what she's not going to see?
She only pays attention
No,
to
she only listens to Steve Langford.
Yeah. No, she doesn't listen to anything but the kids listen.
I'm just saying, how do you know what anybody's going to see or hear? How do you know if a parent had Howard TV and seen that, who would you be mad at then?
That would be, then I'd have myself to blame. I'd absolutely have myself to blame.
But you're out there talking about it. I'm just saying, I know why you're mad at Steve, because he said he wouldn't do something and he did it. But I just think that you're just sort of getting mad because Steve's easy to kick.
All right, Bob,
no,
you have the
Steve's
last
not easy to kick. The guy could fucking probe into my fucking life and make it miserable if he wants to. Then I'll have to make the decision or not of how I want to fucking deal with it.
Bob, you're on the air in Toledo.
Hey, how you doing, Howard? Hey, this is for Artie, and ask the Song Parody Man to be quiet. I'm going to put the truth out about him.
Let's hear it.
They sold them bikes at auction because of that storage. He has no bikes. He's lying out his teeth. They were sold a month and a half ago.
Okay, describe the two bikes. Tell me what type, and then I'll pull the registrations out of my pocket. We'll see if they match.
Well, pull them out, Dan. I ain't going to describe them. They weren't that hot of a bike anyways. One went for $6,500, and the other one went for $1,100. One was an 883, and the other one was a Fat Boy.
You're absolutely wrong. They're both shovelheads.
Okay.
So you're a fucking moron. One's an Iron Sportster and one's an 80 wide glide. So shut your fucking off. Yeah, it's another fucking ass. It's another fucking asshole talking shit.
Didn't I ask you to be quiet?
Yeah, but that's too fucking bad. Be quiet so you can fucking lie. You're a shitty caller. You tried to call in and be funny. You suck. That was your fucking angle to get on Howard's show to say that they sold my bike at auction? You fucking go to fucking hell.
I pay my fucking subscription. Don't owe Artie nothing.
All right, let's go to Sam. You have the final word in California. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I want to know the storage name of Dan's storage lot, because when they do get posted in the newspaper and they do come up for auction, he's $4,000 behind on the rent. I don't believe it. I want to buy them. So what's the name of the storage unit there?
Yeah, like I'm gonna fucking tell you, it's through an individual. It's not a storage unit. It's a garage that I rent with a couple other people. One person has their name on the lease. The rest of us pay our share for the garage.
All right, listen, Dan. I hope the financial situation gets better for you. That's
hopefully,
number one.
You know, I got this. Hopefully, I'm doing this tour. This tour with the people I work out with in Vegas. I got a tour coming up, and I
plug that so that you can get back on your feet. Where are you going to be?
It's Beecher's Madhouse. He's booking a casino party tour that's going on in all the different casinos outside of Vegas around the country. You can check out beechersmadhouse.com. And just one more quick thing, Artie. Was it just an oversight that you didn't invite me to either of your parties this summer? And I don't want to be a douche, or was it like that? You know?
No, you were. I didn't formally invite anybody. It was like, you know, there weren't invitations.
I don't know. Like I said, I felt like you were.
No.
I was 10 minutes away in fucking Long Branch, babysitting
Sounds like
my
Artie,
friend's house.
maybe didn't want you there.
Yeah,
no, that's not true. I mean,
you know what? I happen to know Artie sent out a mass email. No, not a mass email. An email to like Tracy, not Tracy, but some. I don't even remember that you invited anyone. I heard through the grapevine you were having a party. I don't think there was a formal invite.
Right. I just said anybody could come. Of course. If I would have seen you, you could come. No, I don't. I'm not like that. Believe me. Look, I don't judge anybody for borrowing money. I know stuff gets shitty, and believe me, a lot of people owe me money.
I tell you,
and a lot of people have owed me money for years, and I keep it quiet. I'm sorry I brought it up. That day with Teddy, I lost my mind.
I know.
But
I can't blame you.
And I didn't mean to call you the names I was calling you, but it was like. I was nuts, and I never would have brought up your name. Howard could ask me till Kingdom Come. I would have said, no, that's not true, because it should be private. I wish it hadn't come to this. I do. I mean, it might have been eating away at you. So I was talking about another guy who owes me money.
I know. Yeah, we're going.
And look, by the way, this other guy who owes me money.
Yes.
Everybody here, they're like Sherlock Holmes. Everybody here figured out who that was.
Oh, yeah, I figured that off the bat. Too.
Okay, right. Okay, so you work here. You figured it out somehow. And
have you figured it out, Howard?
He knows who it is.
I have no idea. He told me, and I don't know who it is. I swear you don't.
So in other words, so that guy all of a sudden got the guilt and is texting me every 5 seconds. And you know what? It'll never come to this. You know why? Because I'll never say his name, and he probably won't either.
Right.
You should have just not said anything, man.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let me just.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Who would even know?
Yeah, you know.
No one would know, Dan.
I've been on both sides of the lending. The first time I've ever borrowed a large sum of money is from you, aside from the mortgage that I took out on the house.
Lucky you, Artie.
But from being on the other side of it, okay, and I know how much it could piss you off if you think I'm going out and I'm spending money and just like that would be a big F you to you. I got people that I've lent way more than than you lent me, who've never paid me back, who've sold their houses, and I know they've profited over $100,000 on their house, bought another house. Then
well,
while
let's go
I was
get them.
Right, and then
hunt them down.
And then while I was losing my fucking house and needed money to keep it out of foreclosure, this scumbag was putting in a fucking pool in his backyard. You know, while he still couldn't pay me back, you know, the 10 grand.
So you are not doing that.
I'm never going to be that fucking guy. I would sooner fucking kill myself.
No, I know you wouldn't, Dan.
Right.
Believe me. But you know.
All right, let me wrap this up. I don't want to put Dan on the.
Now here's just another offer for Artie. Since this tour is getting booked, and I'm going to be doing a ton of work on it, Beecher actually offered to give me an advance on some of the money that I'm going to earn from the tour, which I could then give directly to you.
All right, there you go.
Whatever, if you can afford it, fine.
Yeah.
You know,
all right.
Don't get yourself.
But thanks, man. Again, the most important thing is you know that we're still friends. Man.
We are. I'm not. Believe me, we're friends.
Do you want Langford to do a story on this today or no?
No, I want somebody else to do a fucking story on the passing of Steve Langford. And I can fucking
Dan,
do
the
a happy
Song Parody Man,
dance.
super talented guy. As you heard, he has just put together another hit song, "Everybody Douche Now," featuring Tracy. And I have to say, Dan, you are a super talented guy.
Thank you.
And yes, you will get back on your feet.
What sucks about money
and you
is,
know what? You don't have to pay Artie back ever. I'm sure.
No. What sucks about money is, like, you know, I don't need money now.
Yeah.
But everyone here has seen my violent streak when I get mad. God forbid I ever do need money. Because, you know.
Good luck.
I'm going to go looking for it.
I mean, if it makes you feel better to kick the shit out of me, I'll hold my head behind my back. You can pound away.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about a lot of other people.
Listen, Dan, go calm down. I want you to go take whatever Artie's on and it'll be fine, all right?
All right, thanks a lot.
Calm down over there, for Christ's sake.
All right.
Getting all worked up. I saw your hands were shaking and everything.
Well, you pissed me off.
I thought you would take off like a rocket. All right. Well,
I would never disrespect the sanctity of your studio.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Who was it that said that?
Dan the Song Parody Man.
Dan the Song Parody Man goes, I had no trouble getting into the city because I listened to the traffic channel.
Dan's a liar. Dan had no trouble because he's a biker without a bike.
What was Dan going to work?
Exactly.
I couldn't get in to get that windfall of money. You know what, Howard?
Yeah.
Can I be honest about something?
Sure.
I am starting to seethe at him.
Why?
I'm starting to get, and I like Dan. We were friends.
Yeah.
But I'm really, you know, I guess this is me being human. I really am mad at Dan.
Go ahead.
Just because.
Get it off your chest.
Just because it's $7,500.
He owes you $7,500.
And I gave it to him about a year and a half ago. He was living in Vegas, and he called me up with a sad story saying, Art, I got to get out of Vegas. I got to get home, but I got no money. And he originally told me he needed $15,000.
Right.
And I said, Dan,
to
listen.
get back to New York?
How
is he coming?
He was coming. He was getting his own private jet. Yes.
and Dan and I spoke every day. He would call me 3 times a day. We were close. He would drive me to gigs for a while. And he moved out to Vegas to get a job to a guy I introduced him to. I got him a job in Las Vegas. And he was miserable after a while, and he wanted to come home. And he called me up and he said, but I need money to come home. I need about 15 grand. And I said, look, damn.
15 grand?
15 grand.
He was working, and he needed 15 grand to get home.
He wasn't making a lot of money. I think he was in charge of the midgets at the show.
At Beecher's?
At Beecher's, yeah. He wrangled the midgets. Which is a dark job.
Maybe you don't make a lot of money, but it's got to be so fulfilling.
So rewarding.
I mean, come on.
I feel so bad for the midgets in Vegas because they're all dark. They drink, they do blow, they get whores. They look gray and near death, like Hank, you know. And if I was a midget, I'd do the same fucking thing, guys.
Me too.
You got a bad hand. But, you know, he had to come back, and he said, I need $15,000. And I said, Dan, listen. I'll send you $7,500 now. When you get back here, get on your feet, you know, you call me. And I said, is that enough to get back?
Right, of course.
And you could fly. Is that enough for a private jet back?
Yeah.
And he said, yeah. And when I get there, I'll settle in and we'll see. So I think he got the hint. I gave him the $7,500, and he never asked me for another $7,500.
Right, yeah.
Maybe he got
That's pretty generous.
Maybe he got it somewhere else.
He shared a jet with him.
Now, he gave me $1,000 recently, but, and not to disparage his character, this could be untrue, but I really think if it didn't come up on the air, and I did not bring it up, he did. Okay, I want to make that sure. I don't rat on anybody.
Go ahead.
You borrow money from me, and I'll shut up about it. But he brought it up, And I really think if you didn't bust his balls on the air, I wouldn't even have got the 1,000. So now it's 6,500, and it's been months and months and months. And you know what? Should I call him? Should I not call him? I don't know what to do. He's a guy who's talented, so he play a lot of his music. He comes up a lot, and every time I hear it, I'm like, wow, he's a talented kid, but fuck, I don't need the 6,500. I'm very blessed because of this show. I do well, but it's $6,500, man. Like, my old man had to climb a lot of roofs to make that money.
Sure.
And I don't know. He doesn't even make an attempt. There's no attempt.
No call, nothing.
No call, nothing, and he's at screenings, and he can't get a motorcycle out of a garage, apparently.
I like that he's reading the want ads at the screen.
He was. I did check. I did look at him at the screen. He did have the want ads.
And I even told him. He goes, I know a motorcycle because I saw his motorcycle when we were closed, and it's in storage, and it's real important to him. And he's got a beautiful daughter that he cares for, that he has to pay for. I get it. And I even said, look, don't sell the bike, man. Just get a job. You know what I mean? Right. I don't want you to sell the bike.
Right.
There's just no effort. It's like a fuck you. It's like in the movie Mean Streets, Robert De Niro, an old Scorsese movie, plays such a dirtbag. He borrows money from people and then spends money in front of them.
Right.
And that's sort of what Dan's doing. And I'll tell you what, as the guinea in me, as I start to think, I'm really mad at my old friend Dan.
So have you learned not to lend people money?
Yes, I have learned a lot from you.
Right.
And, yes, I can't do this anymore. And the benefits...
Because you'll only end up resenting them. And then who wants to resent a guy you like?
And there's another great line from the Bronx Tale where the little kid... sees a guy, Chaz Palminteri's walking with the little kid.
Right.
And kid sees a guy who owes him $20. Goes, get over here, you're always avoiding me. Where the fuck's my 20? And the kid runs away from him. And Palminteri goes, come here, jerk off. That kid's a fucking jerk off asshole. You know what? You just got him out of your life for $20. That's all it cost you. You'll never see him again. Danny never calls me anymore. I don't see him unless I hear about him here. And but it cost me $6,500, not $20.
All right, well, that's inflation.
Yeah, so I don't know.
All right, well,
that's me being honest.
Maybe Dan will call in and we can have a discussion with him about it.
I know he's down on his luck, and I've been there before, but it's just at least call me once a month and say I tried and I'm sorry.
Right.
Here's $10. And I wouldn't even take it, but that effort would really mean a lot to me. We were friends.
All right, that's sad. You see, this is what happens. This is why I always tell people, don't start lending money to your friends and to your relatives, because if you do, you're going to resent them. In fact, I've had relatives ask me for money, and then I hear, and I turn them down. That's my policy. But the next thing I know, they're on vacations, they're on, they're buying computers. It's wild. And I'm like, well, I'm here working. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Howard, I know a kid who owes me $43,000.
Well, that was your bookie, right?
No, not a bookie.
Right.
Friend.
$43,000?
$43,000.
How did that happen?
Well, he needed $20,000 originally to do something that was a pretty fucked up situation that I won't go into.
Right.
And I had to give him the $20,000.
Why did you have to?
Because I was worried for him.
All right.
All right. So and I gave him the $20,000. Then he needed more. And it got up to 43. And since then, this kid is, it's unbelievable. Since then, one time this kid told me, hey, Art, I'm going to Italy for 18 days.
Yeah.
And then he said to me 2 Memorial Day weekends ago, he goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm working. I said, I got a gig in Detroit Memorial Day weekend.
That's what I get to do.
I go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm going to South Beach. I'm staying at Delano all weekend. It's going to be great, And
unbelievable. See, and then you start seeing that, and you go berserk. You go, you're going to South Beach. How are you paying for that?
Yeah.
And then now, all of a sudden, you're watching everything they buy and do.
Yeah, not everything, but South Beach for the weekend in Italy, $43,000.
And they haven't paid a dime?
Not a dime.
Wow. Well, I believe me, you know how I feel about all this. Well, I'm glad you learned your lesson, though. You're not doing that anymore.
I'm learning from you.
Well, you have to do that. Sometimes it's hard, too, because you know people are in trouble and you want to help, but you got to worry about your own thing, too, and worry about your own mental health. Unless you don't care,
No.
You know, and you say, you know what? Whenever you lend somebody, you got to go in with the attitude, I'm never going to see this again, and I don't care. I'm okay with it. I'm giving a charitable donation.
And you don't want to be a bill collector or a bank.
Right.
That is not what you want to do with your life.
Jay, you're on the air.
Artie.
Yes.
I just want to say, Artie, man, you sound great, and the reason everybody loves you is because you're all about principle. You hit the nail on the head. When your dad was... He'd work his ass off for $6,500, just as you would when you were working on the docks. And you're just looking for Dan to set up some kind of payment plan, even if it's $20 a month.
Right. You made the point, and it's very true. This whole lending money thing.
What goes through the borrower's mind? That, this, it'd be embarrassing to give $10 a month or something like that, or this wouldn't be right just to give him $5 or like anything toward it.
I think most borrowers do not really think they're going to be able to pay it back.
Yeah. But, I mean, are they thinking ever about, I could give Artie $5, but that would be what?
An insult or something.
Is that what they're thinking?
I don't even think that.
Maybe I'll give it to him when I have $25.
He talked about it on a wrap-up show, or maybe he talked about it here, but we had that exact conversation. I said, give him $50 a month, give him $100 a month. And he goes, I want to give him the whole thing. He goes, just a little bit at a time.
Okay, so you get nothing.
A little bit at a time.
But that's another word for that is I want to give him nothing.
Yeah, but at $50 a month, okay, even let's say $100 a month. Right. Let's say they came up with a payment plan. Yeah. $100 a month would mean something to Artie. It means the debt is being paid. And by the way, how many years has it been since the
year and a half?
A year and a half. So, all right, so $1,000. Over $1,000 would have been paid back already.
See, I'm with Artie, and I don't mean to take a shot at Dan, but I believe that if it never came up on the air, any payment would never have been there. Right. And if you remember, Dan did promise at Christmas time that he had these motorcycles that he was going to sell and pay Artie off, but then now he couldn't pay the garage. They're locked up somewhere. Yeah. But I always think that and again, I don't know that this is Dan, but I think that when somebody borrows money from somebody who's got a lot of money, in their mind, they think, he's not going to miss that. He's got plenty of money.
Well, you hit it right on the head because I'm thinking of someone who recently wanted to borrow money from me and then wrote me a letter and said, this money doesn't mean anything to you, but it would change my life.
Wow.
Right.
And I said, well, then you don't know me very well. I work pretty hard for my money.
They know what means something to you.
And I got plenty of expenses, too. And guess what? The money does mean something to me.
But see, I think that when a guy hears Artie say, oh, man, I lost 10 grand on the U.S. Open this weekend, they think, like, well, then Artie doesn't need money. But the point is, that's Artie's money to do with whatever he wants to do with it.
That's right.
Well, Artie, if he paid you $5 a week, that's just some point in every week where he's actually thinking of you.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, though. Right. I mean, that is a good point.
Now, I'm glad you stopped by, Artie, and I'm going to shift gears off
Thank you. I feel like Bob Hope and Johnny. Wow.
Off of Jack Black and move on to what you had to say about Dan, because that came... It sounded like you wanted to get that off your chest again. Is it getting worse? Like, are you just getting more and more pissed off? Or is it, you told that Bronx Tale story before. Is it one of those things where you give up the money and you just let go?
I wanted to get that off my chest more than the jizz that I had on my chest. No, look, I still like Dan and everything, but, Howard brings up a lot of good points about people who borrow money from you, and it's just starting to irk me, and I don't want to make Dan think that I'm an enemy of his in any way, and I know he's going through hard times, but I don't know. It's like, I guess Dan figured I made a lot of money, but that's quite a bit of money that could have went to, I don't know, buying my mother a necklace or a car. But it's a lot of cash, and he's not, to hear that he did screenings instead of doing something is a little annoying, and it's starting to irk me. I'm not seething about it. I don't feel he's an enemy. But
actually, your opening line was, I'm seething.
Okay, you're right, Gary. I'm seething. But
and I think you should be.
Yeah.
I am totally supportive of you in this case.
Look, if I saw Dan, I know. Thank you, sweetie. A chick just brought me ice. I don't know who that broad is, but she's hot. She's an intern. I'm sorry.
Say that before you made any Sarah Palin with kids jokes.
No, I would never. Let me just say I apologize profusely to Ashley and her family. Look, I'm very mad about it. But if Dan came in here, I wouldn't want to fight him. We'd be friendly, but I'm mad.
Well, there's a couple of things. John and I were talking about it this morning first, and we were saying that we probably couldn't sleep if we owed you that kind of money.
I'm the same way.
And another thing is, people say, oh, Gary makes good money, blah, blah, blah. But there was a period of time when I didn't have, made no money and had no money, and I would find it hard to borrow money for somebody. And if I would never borrow money that I didn't think I could pay back. Here's the other thing is, and I do think this is a problem for people when, that deal with you. You are very loose with your money for what you want to be loose with it for. If you say, I want to bet 50 grand on the U.S. Open, okay, you do, and you lose it, you talk about that on the show. But that's your money, and it's your prerogative to do whatever you want with it. If you want to wipe your ass with $100 bills, that's up to you.
Right.
So when you lend somebody money, I wonder if they don't look and go, well, Artie just bet this, and Artie just did Vegas, and Artie did that. And the last thing I want to say about it, and again, Dan, if you're listening, I'm not looking to trash you, but I know for me, it makes me look at him in a different way.
Well, now you're making me think of something. One time me and Dan were at an outdoor rock festival, and there was no porta-johns. So one time Dan did see me wipe my ass with a $100 bill. And in my defense, I didn't have a 50. So maybe that put the idea in his mind. No, you're right. I think people make this mistake with Howard's. Everybody spends Howard's money. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And it's his money that he worked. No one was calling Howard and kissing his ass when he was in a hotel room in Detroit making nothing work, like fighting all those motherfuckers who worked at those stations to get on what he wanted. And you work hard for it. And I mean, I had to do a lot of work to make $6,500, man. And I think of my old man who had to climb a lot of roofs. And I know Dan comes from the same sort of background as me, and he probably feels bad about it. But, for a little while in between high school and working at the port, I worked at my buddy's machine shop. His old man owned a machine shop, the great Mike Teska, T-E-S-K-A. And I grew up with a million Mikes, and we had nicknames for all of them. We called him Goof. His name was Goof. So Goof was the most generous fucking kid in the world. And there were times where I was working at his machine shop, making like $7 an hour, and I would drink and, try to get blow, and I would gamble with money I didn't have. And there's two times where I asked him for $500, and without fucking blinking an eye, he gave it to me. And both times I was able to pay him back within a week, but that week was torturous for me, even though I knew he didn't need the money, and I did. And I was able to pay him back quickly. And look, thank God the Raiders covered. But,
what would you have done if they didn't?
I would have, went to a loan shark or something, because I knew loan sharks. Right. I mean, he didn't need the money, and he told me that, and he's not charging me any vig. It's a friend loaning me money, and I'll never forget Goof for that, man. He's like, and I would tell my mother that, and it's funny. I always said Goof because I knew 2 million Mikes, and my mother knew him as Goof. At my father's funeral mass, my mother knew how good he was to me. And in a crowded church, I'm explaining to my mother who some of my friends were, who she never met. And I said, Ma, this is Goof. And in tears, my mother yelled out in the church, oh, hi, Goof.
But when Gary and I were talking about it, Artie, the thing that really actually irks me is when people assume because you do okay, oh, he really doesn't need the money. Like, he'll deal if I don't pay him back right away or down the road because he's in such, and Howard alluded to that also.
Right.
Just because you're doing well, that's not the point. It's the principle of if you loan somebody some money, you pay him back.
Right. Look, everybody's different. No one gave me anything. I break my ass for my money. I write. I mean, you know how long it takes to write? My new stand-up DVD is an hour and 20 minutes. You know how long it takes to write an hour and 20 minutes?
But you don't have to, have to justify.
But Artie, I do have a question for you, though. How long was it from the time you lent Dan the money till it came up on the air that time?
About 8 months.
So, and when you lent him the money, was there ever any kind of, I don't want to say schedule, but was there ever any discussion of, I'll try to start paying you back in 3 months, 6 months, a year?
Well, he was living out in Vegas, and he needed the money to move back, and he's got a daughter, and he really needed to see his daughter, and it was a legitimate thing. Dan's a good father, and he loves his daughter, and his daughter's a good kid, and I've met his daughter, because me and Dan did the road a lot together. He would drive me around the gigs, and that got to me, because I know he's a good father, and he cares about his kid, and he was out in Vegas trying to make money. But it didn't work out, and he was broke, and he goes, I got to move back. I got to see my kid. So I said, okay. So I sent him a check, and he said to me, as soon as I get back, I'll try as hard as I can to get it to you. He didn't give me any definite time. He said it might take a while. I understood. But you know, it could take 40 years. But sometimes you just want to see an effort, and when he's at a screening at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it makes you annoyed. And listen, any fans out there who see Dan's a brilliant guy who writes great song parodies for us, and he contributes to the show, and he's a great kid. I'm not saying this. Don't be mad at Dan. If you see him, don't give him any shit. That would be wrong. Dan's a good guy. This is between me and him. And I swear to you, in a million years would have brought this up on the air. But Dan did. Dan called into the show and decided to say it. And it became an issue. And today it came up, and I just was honest about it. But if somebody fucks with Dan, they're fucking with me, because that's wrong. Just let him be. It's between me and him.
Well, it must weigh heavy on Dan, and I'll tell you why. The way it came up on the air is we were on the wrap-up show, and I said something about somebody owing somebody money, and I didn't know about his stuff. And then he goes, all right, I owe Artie money. I was like, yeah, I wasn't talking about you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he brought it up, so it must weigh on his mind. Well,
because there's another guy who used to work here who I loaned $4,000 to. Right,
that's what I was talking about.
I've never seen him again.
But wait a second. The last time you brought that up, he emailed me and got a hold of you, and then what happened?
He texted me and said he's close to a windfall type of thing.
And nothing on that either, huh?
God, those windfalls. Like, the weatherman who's predicting those windfalls is really wrong.
Ralph Sorella, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, now.
Hi, Ralph.
Artie, I don't understand why. I mean, I can understand you're upset with Dan. I understand that you're upset, but you keep lending money out expecting a different result from various people. So you should really be putting this money out there without the expectation of getting it back.
Well, hold on a second, Ralph. Hold on. Artie,
can I finish?
Hold on, but have you lent money to other people?
I don't
and
lend
gotten
money.
It back? I'm talking to Artie. Stop for a second.
Ralph, it's not about you for 3 seconds.
Artie, have you lent money to other people in the last 5 years and gotten it back?
About 85% of the people I've loaned money to have given it back to me. Right. Absolutely.
But do you think Dan doesn't want to pay this money back and he feels bad about it?
No. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I think Dan does feel bad about it, but it's just a little aggravating when a guy seems to be relaxing on a weekday afternoon at a screening he's getting for free with one of the biggest stars in the world because he works for him, instead of maybe, I don't know, doing anything to scrape it up. It's just, I'm being honest with you, Ralph.
Right, but one doesn't preclude the other. Just because he did a screening doesn't mean that should he just sit in his house and
Ralph, if it were your
not leave?
Ralph, if it were your money, hold on a second. If it were your money that somebody owed you, you'd probably have a similar feeling.
That's not the point. But
no, but it is the point. No, it's a big point.
What I'm wondering is, why do you even let it get to you that you're letting this upset you? And how much is it, by the way?
$6,500.
Okay, it's not a drop in a bucket, but I mean and I'm not counting your money or how you spend it.
I understand,
but I'm just saying on a psychological level, why do you even let it get to you? Just, you know what? Fuck it. What am I going to do about it? It's
all right, Dr. Freud. Well, listen, I didn't grow up with a lot of money, Ralph, and I don't think you did either. You seem to come from a good family, a good mom. Your sister seems like a classy person. I grew up with no money, so I don't give a fuck how much money I make. $6,500 is still $6,500. That could be a necklace for my sister. It could be something I could do nice for someone I love or something. But I could give it to charity. Yeah. It's still a lot of money, Ralph.
You're rationalizing it. You don't have to.
I know, because he's forcing me to, because he's asking a stupid question, I think.
I'm not. No, I'm just.
Ralph, you're asking a stupid question. You're being stupid.
I agree, Ralph.
You're being stupid. And listen, Ralph, listen to me.
I
agree with you that it's my fault for loaning money out a lot and expecting it back. But Gary's right. About 85% of the time, I have gotten it back. And Dan was a friend of mine, and I thought that might happen, too. It was a mistake. I'm a human being. You're right. I shouldn't let it get to me, but it is right now. And I'm being honest about it on the radio. That's all I'm saying. You're entitled to your opinion. It came up today, and I said, you know what, Howard? I want to say something because it's something that's been on the air. I'm a little mad right now.
And I'm not attacking you, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying maybe there's another way to look at it. Like, you know what? Let me just let this go.
But Ralph, you're
a better human being than I am, Ralph, because it's hard to let it go, brother.
And Ralph, I don't think you're being completely honest. You're being a little hypocritical because a lot of times you'll call here and you'll say, listen, the great thing about Howard is no matter how much money he has, he still values money.
Sure.
You'll say that all the time.
Right.
So why should Artie not value the money he's owed?
you're missing the point of. Maybe I'm just not making it clear. I'm not saying that $6,500 is nothing. That's a shitload of money to anybody. I think to Bill Gates, I think $6,500 is a lot of money.
It could feed 18 kids tonight steak dinners.
Right,
you know?
but this guy Dan is like he's not a jerk off. I don't think, and
neither do I.
And he's obviously having trouble paying it back, and you're getting upset with yourself and him, and it's like you don't need to. That's 65. You're not getting kicked out of your house,
Ralph. You're not getting it, man. You're not getting it. It doesn't matter if I'm getting kicked out of my house, man. You're not getting it.
You're saying you're not counting Artie's money, but you just counted it.
Yeah, Ralph. The fact that he's not getting kicked, it's completely irrelevant.
It's just money.
No, it's just money.
But it's not just the value of money. It's a friend treating you kind of shitty.
You're right. There's more to it than just the money aspect of it. It's somebody you trusted who, you know, and I think again,
I think if Dan could pay the money back, if Dan could pay the money back, he would tomorrow.
He would. I'm agreeing with you, Ralph, but he's not making an effort to get it, so something's wrong here.
I mean, what if Dan could do a million things? He could say to Artie, "Look, I need to wait for the money."
I mean, it's just like maybe
Ralph, you don't know the situation.
You're trying to make me feel guilty right now. I know he has a daughter. That's why I loaned him the money.
No,
and if he came to me and said, "Oh, I can either give you the $6,500 or feed my kid for 10 days," I said I don't want it. But he's not doing that. He's not communicating with me.
Right. See,
so instead of like calling him or something like that, you're gonna deal with it on the air.
You want me to? No, he dealt with it on the air, Ralph. He made this up. And Howard harps on it because it's funny and interesting. Every time he sees Dan at a screening, Howard makes a joke about it. So get on Howard for talking about it on the air.
But didn't you bring it up today and say I'm upset with Dan?
No, Dan came up, and I thought, and I am. And because it's been brought up on the air, I brought it up.
All right.
Ralph, only you could make Artie feel like the villain in this.
I'm not. You're twisting it.
But you're saying just forget it. I'm sure he'd pay it back if he could, but there's more to it than just actual money as well. And Benji started to touch on that a little bit.
No,
hold on, let me finish now. Hold on, let me finish.
You're trying to make me the villain for saying, hey, look at it.
So you are the villain because you're talking like a jerk off right now.
I want to make my point, and I have the luck of not having to listen to Ralph while I want to make the point. It's not only dollars and cents you're dealing with here. Benji sort of touched upon it. It's a friendship. It's a person that you trusted that said they were going to do something that they didn't, and it's the lack of communication. And I think that's Artie's biggest issue. In other words, if I were in the same position and somebody came to me and said, you know, listen, man, I know I owe you that money. Times have been rough. I lost my job. You know, just a little communication. But Artie doesn't get any communication. He just goes to a screening and sees a guy sitting there, and then your mind just makes up the rest.
Look, Dan used to call me a few times a day. You know what I mean? And this goes back to the Chaz Palminteri Bronx Tale thing. He says, that jerk-off's out of your life for $20. He owes you $20. But he's going to avoid you forever. It's different with me and Dan because I do want to see the kid. I like the kid. I hope his daughter's fine. So tell me, look, Art, I just can't. Every once in a while, call me up and say, I ain't got it, man. I'm sorry, brother. And everything's fine.
And I know he's embarrassed. I'm sure it's one of the reasons he's probably embarrassed. But still, those are the parts of life where you got to man up and bite the bullet.
Right.
Well, you're absolutely right about that. I mean, he should be communicating or saying something or letting you know. Or I don't disagree with that. All I was just trying to say, and like I said, I'm not sure of making clear. It's just like you're letting it really get to you, and you're upsetting yourself. Like you're making yourself miserable over it.
Right.
Maybe I'm overstating it, but you know what I mean. Like I would be like, well, fuck it.
Well,
you know, I'm gonna get my. You got enough to worry about.
Yeah, Ralph, you're right, but you know what? It doesn't consume me 24 hours a day. Today at 6:02 when we started, it got to me, and I brought it up, and I would never have brought that up on the air if Dan didn't, and Howard didn't keep bringing it up. And that's it. I'm classier than to loan people money and then to bring it up on the air. He brought it up. He brought it up. And, you know, this other guy who owes me the money, who I won't talk about because I would never do that, he's not a friend of mine. I don't know him.
I still don't know why you lent that guy money.
Because he told me he was going to get killed by a loan shark or something, and he was going to get evicted from his house. And look, people know I'm a soft touch. I gave the guy $4,000, and you know what? He's not a friend of mine, and I don't care if I ever see him again. But Dan is, and I do care. That's the problem.
See, that's the problem, too. It's like people know that you give out money, and it's like...
I know, but, you know, and look,
the Bank of Hoboken.
To my family... Exactly.
What do you call you?
The Bank of Hoboken. That was very funny. But to my family's credit, no one in my family has ever asked me for money. I got cousins who work their ass off climbing roofs, carpenters. I come from a classy family, thank God. It's no one in my family. They're happy for me, and I love seeing them. But I got a couple. Look, I went to a high school, had a few dirtbags in it, and people.
And they seem to find her.
People are lingering around. Why do you think I'm not on Facebook?
Hey, have you been able to say no to anyone?
You'd be bankrupt if you were on Facebook.
That's a good question. Have you said no to anyone?
Like, what's the best story you said no to?
From the guy who couldn't say no to Scott, the engineer.
Oh, right.
Like from a high school
That's
friend.
true, right?
You know what, Benji? I don't think I've ever said no to someone who's asked me to loan them money. And because no one's ever asked me to loan them $1 million, but people have always asked me to loan them money that's affordable to me. Technically, with Dan, I did, because Dan wanted $15,000. I gave him $7,500, and then he came back and said, forget about it.
Can I tell you something? This is really terrible. We were going to do sort of a practical joke hidden camera. Well, it came up on the air. I came up in one of the meetings one time. You were lending people money, and we were like, Artie's such a soft touch. He's such a good guy. We were going to do a hidden camera where I was, but this, I felt so bad about
Where
this.
I was going to come out to George Takei and he was going to ask me for money?
No. where I was going to go in and see, like maybe tell you, like, one of my kids was sick and see how much I could get out of you. And I said, that's just a terrible thing. Like, but you would have given me money. And
let me tell you something. If you told me one of your kids was sick, I would have given you $400,000.
I know that. I know, and that's what we sort of know. Like there was no.
That would have been. And who,
I couldn't do that with my kids.
There's no God, but God forbid. I have to say that like my grandmother. Your kid, hopefully your kid doesn't get.
Well, the other thing is, if I was coming to Artie for money, I would think like, all right, what's the number that would, he would pay, but wouldn't be ridiculous. Like Dan overreached with 15.
It's like Deal or No Deal.
And Ralph makes a good living, but I'm sure that, and to Ralph's credit, he's never asked me for any money. You know what I mean? It's like
I've never borrowed money from anybody.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing about Ralph. Like, he does have that principle about him because he was raised right, I think. But and I think Dan was raised right, too, but he was just desperate. It was his kid, and I'm not trying to fuck with him. But I said something today spontaneously, and maybe I shouldn't have, but it was on the air already.
It's more like Price is Right. Like, how high do you bid? At what point do you turn Artie off?
That would be the gag to pull on you.
Will Artie lend this woman from Ohio with the gout $25,000? I'm going to say lower.
Higher.
I think Jay Leno's doing that on the new Tonight Show.
Yeah, no, Jay Leno ain't doing shit. Pepsi is.
Thank you,
Ralph. That's all I have to say.
All right, Ralph.
Sometimes you got to let it go. Like the 300 Artie owes me. I just let that go.
or the 300 or the 200 you owe me, Ross Howard, from the poker game. We're letting that go.
All right, so you still owe me 100.
All right, but you know what? I'll give you 100 today. Show up in Hoboken, you jerk off.
while you're jogging.
Yeah, another good call, Ralph. Always provocative.
Bye, Ralph. Brian in Brooklyn, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's up, Brian?
Hey, what's going on, Gary? John, Artie, I'm your biggest fan. The way you talk about Howard, that's how I look at you, man.
Who are you talking about, me, John? Or
He's talking about you.
I like all you guys, but the way you talk about Howard, Artie, because I was always a Norm Macdonald fan on Saturday Night Live. So when I got put onto you, I became the biggest Artie Lange fan, and I actually started listening to Howard because of you, and I became a huge Howard Stern fan. Actually, because of you, I got off into boxing recently.
Oh, good.
I was really reliant on those, and I got off of them, thank God. But
hey, Brian, what's your question?
Yeah, well, that's good you're off the boxing, but yeah, what's your question? And thank you.
No problem. The point is, Artie's trying to make that I think no one's articulating is not the fact that he needs the money or even wants the money, the fact that he's not thinking about it. And it bothers me, like all these jerk-offs that call and like try to rag on Artie for whatever reason when they kiss his ass in person, it really makes me angry because Artie's the sweetest guy in the world. And I don't want him to change and think like, oh, lending money's wrong, because there's been times when I'm down on my luck, and like all you guys have been saying, that when I borrow money, it consumes me. I have to do everything I can to pay the person back. And I've been burned a lot of times lending money myself, and it's just the way Artie is. He's amazing, and I hope he never changes. And it just bothers me when people, like, all he wants is Dan to think about him, to care that he owes money.
Well, yeah, all right, you're right. And first of all, how much do you need? And second of all, you're right. You're 100% right. I just want Dan to... And don't be afraid, Dan. We're friends. Give me a call and just say, look, I tried this month and my daughter needed something. I mean, that's all I need to hear. And, you know, I shouldn't have brought it up, but Dan brought it up, and it's a subject on the show right now. But, you know, you talk about the fans who you know, and there's so many people on Stern Fan Network give Howard shit, and then they see him and fucking, you know, treat him like God, and they come to signings or whatever. And, you know, there's a great song by Bob Dylan called Positively 4th Street. I dedicate that to those fans. Just listen up to that tune, and you'll know how I fucking feel about those assholes.
Love that song.
Does Dan have your new number? I mean, you've changed it, right?
Oh, no way.
This is Peter, is as bad as can. He knows he's the best. This is Peter, is as bad as can. He knows he's the best.